Travis Wingoodzell, Church News Time, and Trent Tooney has opened the way for utter humiliation and embarrassment. Mormons do not study. It's shameful, literally. I have spent my life as a born and raised Mormon in the covenant path. I studied. And yeah, I know, I understand. September 6, 1993. The church is pissed. They already got humiliated by Mark Hoffman in the 80s. And now Mormons are doing their studying because the church, 1981, the addition of the brand new quad with footnotes, and Bible dictionary, and topical guide. But that study backfired on the church, as people were learning that the church has been lying to them. Who is the author of all lies, Mormons? It's real simple, and yet you deny, and you hate me for it. I have never lied to you. I have done all these years research videos on occasion. And on this particular topic, I've done several over the years. So, Trent Tooney is in the final days of the month, finally getting around to commemorating the restoration of the priesthood 195 years ago this month. This was something you do at the end of April, if not on the day in April when Oliver Cowdery came to babysit Joseph. Which technically was a year before. When you do real church history and not trust whatever the church that's already confessed and admitted and have been exposed of lying, you just can't trust liars. You Mormons should know this. You accuse me of lying and therefore you don't trust me. And yet you do not study, so you do not realize that the church is lying to you. And so you go around falsely accusing others of lying. Just makes you stupid. And so, the church perpetuates a number of lies in regards to this third vision of Joseph Smith. It did not happen. It is a vision. Like a dream. It doesn't happen. When you got your head lying on the pillow, and then all of these things appear in your mind while you're in REM sleep, it's not real. And yet, you fall for the biggest con the world has ever known and is still going on today, as next year is the 1700th anniversary of the great big con on humanity. The formation of Christianity. I still am not finding anything in the news, not even from the Pope, about the big year next year. You'd think that would be the biggest celebration they'd have. Even Islam should be celebrating it because they're a branch off from Constantine's Christianity. Nope. Since we're on the internet, First Council of Nicaea. Oh look, it's exactly next year. From May until the end of July, 325 CE. That was when Christianity was created. When was the Bible created, Mormons? Before Christianity was created. So why are you interpreting the Bible as Christian? Oh, well, because Christians do. You want to be just like them because you're ashamed of the gospel of the Jewish Christ. So yeah, that's the biggest of the big lies that this church perpetuates on you. They claim to be Christian, we're supposed to be Jewish. This is a Jewish vision of Joseph Smith in 1838. He exposes Christianity as the great and abominable church, and exposes those within the church who are the evil disposed and designing persons militating against him. And you got to go to the Joseph Smith papers to find out who it is. Oh, it's Brigham. Now, do you understand why this church lies? They have to lie if they're going to claim authority over you. You should have already caught that if they're telling you that you have to give up your agency to Jesus and they speak for Jesus, so you're giving your agency up to them. Who takes away agency? Oh, right, that same person who's the author of all lies. This is just easy, basic logic knowledge. And wow, I really think you've got a problem with too much Kool-Aid drinking. I think we need to have an intervention. And unfortunately, psychologists are helping this problem that you have because it's their job. And if they tell you the truth, then there would be no need for psychology. And then, so yeah, they gotta lie too, just like the prophets, in order to maintain their lifestyle. And so, yeah, lots of problems here. The church obviously perpetuates harmony north of Pittsburgh. Susquehanna River. North of Pittsburgh? Did you know there was a harmony north of Pittsburgh? There isn't a harmony in Susquehanna. Not anymore. Well, when did it stop being Harmony, Susquehanna River, Pennsylvania? Well, obviously it must be sometime after Joseph Smith was there. Nope. Not at all. So yeah, it's something that even ex-fo nevermos should have caught on to. You know, they catch on to, oh, we can't find the document of the vision of receiving the priesthood from Peter, James, and John. And so they think they got the church, they own you. No. No. Oh my God. But, yeah, there's only a few who subscribe to the Sidney Rigdon Spalding document theory, but they conclude hastily. They don't put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and so obviously they think that Sidney Rigdon wrote the Book of Mormon and it's all a fraud trying to make money and blah blah blah. Oh my God, learning of the Jews. Literally all these years, and Mormons still won't believe. The ex-fo nevermos still keep perpetuating the same lies about the lies that the church keeps spreading. It is so sad. And now AI is here, and now nobody will believe anybody in authority. Everybody wants to believe whatever supports their conclusion, and nobody cares to know the truth. Harmony north of Pittsburgh. Look on your maps, ex-fo nevermos who believe in the Sidney Rigdon Spalding theory. Where is it located? Where was Sidney Rigdon? Where's the farm in Manchester? Where's Harmony north of Pittsburgh? real easy breezy cover girl, and you didn't even bother to do it. And so, yeah, I had a Mormon thinking he was going to confound me with that when I did the major video bombshell years ago by saying that he had found the document in the Joseph Smith papers of the sale from Emma's father to Joseph Smith at Susquehanna River, Harmony. I went, oh, interesting. $2,000, huh? But Joseph didn't have any money. Martin Harris was going to pay for the Book of Mormon, but he insisted on being a part of it in order to pay for it. And then he stole the 116 pages, and so he was out of the picture. And now Joseph is spending $2,000 on a home far away in Susquehanna River, where his father-in-law is now. That's the amount of money that it takes to publish a book? Didn't the messenger warn Joseph to make sure you have no other goal in mind but to get the book published? And here Joseph Smith is giving up on the book and spending the money on something else. And you didn't think that that might be a lie? Yeah, sure enough, Harmony Susquehanna River was ended as Harmony Susquehanna River before Senior arrived in Palmyra in 1816. Before. See, there's this thing called the Postal Service. It's in the Constitution. And so when they come to a state and want to set up a postal service, and the state has 2 harmonies in it, one of you are going to have to change. And so, yeah, the Susquehanna River one changed. It's all right there in the history of Susquehanna County on the internet. And it was frustrating for me because they wouldn't put the chronological history. They talk about one thing, then they talk about another in the future, then they go back in time. And so I'm going down, I'm reading, I'm going, well, what happened to that year? And oh, there it is. Well, what was going on this year? Oh. But it's there. And so, yes, to have a legal document with the wrong name of the city, with an amount of money that was supposed to have been used for the publication of the book. Yeah. See, Martin Harris didn't sell his farm. It wasn't until later when Joseph made him feel guilty. As Senior had to rewrite the 116 pages, and instead of having more of a dominant Knights Templar theme in it, he changed it to a York Rite, or a Jewish Kabbalah. Tree of Life. See, and again, ex fo nevermos. You know about the plagiarism of Joseph Smith Sr.'s dreams. Remember dreams, visions. And yet, you don't think, well, maybe he's the author of the 116 pages that had to be rewritten. That never even occurred to you, did it? He's the dad. Why is Joseph Smith knowing all this information about York Rites, Knights Templar, Freemasonry, and Jewish Kabbalah? When Dad knows it all? And you can't put the pieces of the puzzle together. You can't figure out that Joseph Smith Sr. was a master mason in Canandaigua, New York since, it was May, wasn't it? May 7th, 1818. I had to look it up again today because I was wanting to do a comment to a woman who said that Junior was a Freemason prior to starting the church. Oh my God. She just hears things from other people and she accepts whatever they tell her to believe, and then she goes around as a puppet parodying the lie. Senior. And what happened on 9/11, 1826? The birth of the Book of Mormon and the eventual church. Because there was a guy named William Morgan who was there in Canandaigua, New York, at the lodge, working on a book. He never got to finish the book because people found out he was writing a book, and they didn't want him to write that book because they were bad people wanting to overthrow the government. And so they falsely accused him to get him locked up in jail as a death threat to him. I'm very well familiar with that because that same group still exists to this day. They use the same tactics. They have no originality, no inspiration. They do no good. And if you're going, what group? What, oh my goodness, what group? Seriously? What is the theme of my whole channel? Who's the great and abominable church? So yeah. Senior to the rescue of America, and nobody knows it. And so yes, I've done the research, and it's extensive research. I never wanted to go that far, but I knew I had to. I just had a simple question. And I'm forced to do a thorough investigative research. And the question was, who murdered Joseph Smith? And as I began to investigate the crime scene, I went, oh crap. Gotta go back to the beginning. And so, Senior and Lucy Mack in Vermont with their kids. And so I gotta figure out where's the geographical location, where's the distances of other places, where's the closest religions, how far can a horse travel in a day, what were the names of their children, why did they name their children those names, what religion was he a part of, etc., etc., etc. And then as you do figure that out, you got to study each and every single one of those, and then it just expands and spreads, and now I've got files that are all messed up because I had no clue that this would be the end result. And so I've got to spend the millennium organizing them. But Mormons don't want to be good. And so there will be no Zion. It's just so frustrating that all this time Mormons purposely want to prove the church false. That Joseph Smith was a fraud, the Book of Mormon was a fraud because they don't want to do their research. And then Exfo Nevermos are going, yeah, we told you so. No, you didn't. No. Now AI is out there messing things up even worse. And nobody cares that AI is messing up things worse. Everybody's just revising history and revising reality. Truth is no longer true. Reality is no longer real. Anybody know where that comes from? He got served just the other day. And a birthday party, I understand. This is what they've been doing to us, guys. The enemy is destroying us to control you, to have you do their will. Is that what you want? Do you want to live the way they want you to live? Is that why Mormons are still Mormon? Because they like the bondage. The underwear is very fashionable. And so why aren't you posting it online, women? You're covering up your nakedness. It's not porn. Hello? Where's the women's fashion for your underwear? I guess you're ashamed. You say you're not, and then you are. What does that make you? So, as with the learning of the Jews, you got to refer to the Joseph Smith translation. Wow, that Joseph, he knows all about Jewish Kabbalah and York Rites, Freemasonry, with the Knights Templar. I'm sure it had nothing to do with Daddy. Chapter 12, Revelation, verse 1. There's something added there. And so yes, they're moving of verse 5 to verse 3 is what they're talking about in verse 1 that they added. Sign in the heaven. That gives you a star date. Yeah, just like Star Trek. That's how they do it. It's a precise date, time, day, hour. But no man knows the day or the hour. Yeah, for a science denialist who put it in, tampering with the original Jewish document. And so that's called Revelation. Hey, the book of Revelation is called Revelation. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's a precise day and hour. We can figure it out. We can know it, just like Joseph Smith Sr. did by moving verse 5 to verse 3. And then, in the likeness of things on the earth. That is prophecy. And so Mormons, your so-called prophets and revelators who claim the titles, nobody else can have those gifts. That's their titles, and you must obey them. You must give away your agency to obey them because they have the titles. And they are claiming from this event, not the Kirtland Temple. Not this 1838 correction of section 27 verse 5. Do you know what the correction is? It's going to be confusing because somebody tampered with the 1838 edition. You know, the evil disposed and designing persons militating against Joseph. The original name is the corrected name for section 27 verse 5 for that key, which is interesting because it's called a gift in section 107 verse 92 for the one who has the certain key as the president of the church. So we don't know what it is because Nelson tells us it's Peter, James, and John. Nope. Pay attention to the Joseph Smith history because Trent Tooney doesn't know his Mormonism, does not know his scriptures that he is writing about. He is a liar for the Lord. liar for Jesus of the church, spreading the misinformation just as AI is doing these days. And so, 2 days after the arrival of Mr. Cowdery, being the 7th of April, he's your cousin. Call him Oliver. I never called any of my cousins Mr. Brad, Michael, Darren, David. Come on, Joseph. Granted, it's more appropriate that way because in the verse 66 you call him Oliver Cowdery, but you don't state that. Interesting. But see, the knowledge I have now as I go back after all these years, there's more stuff. So yeah, it's fun. And that's what you're supposed to be doing with your study. Line upon line, precept upon precept. And so if this is all brand new to you, guess what? You're now starting from scratch. You've got to erase everything the church lied about and start all over again. You got to do it right this time. You can't do prayer with feelings that are the correct feeling. You should have known that was false. But again, September 6, 1993, oh wow, we can't have Mormons studying anymore. What do? We've been talking about the still small voice from reading the scriptures, the word. Now we've got to figure out something else. I know. How about feelings? Christians do it. They've been doing it for 1,700 years now. Because their Jesus is not real. Amusion. The biggest con. And still, to this day, 1,700 years later, there's over 4 million Kool-Aid drinkers of Constantine's Kool-Aid. And after all these centuries, that's got to be really spoiled. And oh man, it doesn't age well like wine. It's like the beer of the Egyptians found in the archaeological digs. It's just slur. You do not want to drink it. Oh my God. And so, April 7th, 1829, he commenced translating the Book of Mormon, and he began to write for me. It was actually 2 days after, so the 9th of April was when he commenced to translate the Book of Mormon. And so then the vision of John the Baptist, which is Jewish symbolism, because the Jews wrote the Gospels about John the Baptist. Jews wrote the Gospels about Peter, James, and John. Jews, not Christians. But there's some fun stuff going on here. Bruce R. McConkie wants to lie to you. So, April 9th, Joseph starts the translation of the Book of Mormon. February 1829, History of the Church, Volume 1, page 28, or is that verse 28, whatever. Revelation given through Joseph Smith the prophet to his father, Senior. Is it really? at Harmony, Pennsylvania. Now, yes, granted, there's a cover story that needed after the scandal of Martin Harris's theft, and thus why the document of buying a house as a cover story. And so, yes, he actually did have to move there. Daddy was pissed. Verse 3, previous section, or section 3. He thought it was Jesus? Seriously? Oh, well. Now behold, the marvelous work is about to come forth among the children of men. What work? The Book of Mormon. Joseph has not started the translation of the Book of Mormon. Not until April 9th. Trent? Hello? So who was working on the Book of Mormon? Because it wasn't Joseph. All right, Sidney Rigdon and Senior, who had to rewrite the 116 pages. Ta-da! And so Bruce R. McConkie wants to mislead us, because section 10 he put in the chapter heading in the summer of 1828. No, April. He's got to start all over from scratch in April 9th, according to 1838's version. In the Joseph Smith history, it's the summer of 1829. And so, wow, that's not April 9th. Joseph, you should have referred back to your own history before you wrote 1838. Or is there something else going on, because it's a visionary account not intended to be literal history? These are the things nobody catches. And they just say, well, there's some contradictions going on here, so it can't be true. It's all a fraud. Or, well, if it's not essential to my eternal salvation, I don't need to know it, and if I will, the prophet will explain it to me, or I'll find out when I'm dead. Oh my God. My born-again Christian neighbor, Tom Jones, I just recalled his name. It was in Corona. And so this was 8th grade, where I was going to Auburn Jail Junior High School, just down the main street from where our subdivision was. And so he lived to the east of our house on Farrington Drive, and to the south. Yeah. And so Norco was north, because north, Corona, Crown. That was where I would go to high school. And he was a born-again Christian. His church used to be at the corner of Corona High School, right across the street from where our stake center was, where I went to seminary, early morning seminary, and to church until after I went to Rick's the first year, and they split it off to have our subdivision go to the Norco ward. And it had a huge, massive cross on the building. And if you went to Google Maps to this day, it's gone. It's now a baseball thing. As what had happened was the cross fell into the parking lot. So no more church. no idea if Tom Jones was a victim of that. We obviously did not keep in touch. Or if it was the kid in art class who drew Lucifer dragons, said that, no, this is Lucifer, described exactly like John says in Revelation. Awesome dragons. I hope he's making money off of that art. But yeah, he literally believed that the book of Revelation was about real dragons. And so Jesus is coming down on a real flying horse from outer space. Oh, whoops, he missed the date. I was, what did I put in my thumbnail today, or in my picture today? 1 month and 13 days late. He missed it. John went all out of his way to give us a precise day and time of his coming. And Christians botched it. And so yes, if you're wondering, well, if Jesus didn't show, then Joseph is wrong. John is wrong. Remember? Jewish, not Christian. The Jewish Christ, he showed. He was here. You missed him. You missed the end of the latter days. And yet you thought it meant something else because you were using Christian interpretation. So sad, you missed your Christ. And it's even sadder because Mormons get all into an emotional frenzy of Jesus Christ. You see the church news or the church website right there in the beginning. Jesus Christ is hugging a little Lamanite girl. Which was the date 1 month and 13 days ago. It's in the Book of Mormon too. Just like Revelation 12, 1-3 in the Joseph Smith translation is there right in the beginning of the Book of Mormon. That date, the first year of the latter days, and 3 Nephi 11, the last day of the latter days, the last year, technically. And Mormons missed him. He came unto his own, and his own didn't know him, and rejected him, and denied him, and mocked him, and scorned him, and tried to cast him out, and murder him. And yet Mormons, when you talk about Jesus, they start crying. They go, oh, if only I could see Jesus. And they'd bow before him. They'd be crying. They'd be kissing him. No touching him till, oh, wait a minute. Where is Mary? Mary didn't show. Oh my God. Jesus told her, you gotta wait for 8 April 2024 before we can have sex. And it's come and gone, but she was a no-show. I guess she couldn't wait. She found another guy. See, now there's a whole bunch of jokes. Because Mormons are stupid, worshiping false idol Christs. Following false prophets. Drinking slur Kool-Aid from Constantine. Even though they called Jesus non-Trinitarian rather than Trinitarian. Homoousion, not real. It's just so sad and pathetic, Mormons. And so, yeah, there's some reasons why there are specific dates, and you need to know the Jewish calendar. You need to know the Jewish holy days. You need to know why they're the Jewish holy days and what the significance from them are and where they are in the Bible and what's going on in the Bible stories that produce the holy day. Because the Jews got tampered with by Constantine too. And so the modern Jews, they don't have a clue. They're a completely different religion, but they too have been replaced with Christianity. And it's sad because Daniel tries to warn the Jews during the Roman period time when it was written not to assimilate into Babylon, which was a hint. The prophets do it at the pulpit of conference. We appreciate those Mormons that are faithful and pay their tithing and go to the temple doing their names for their kindred dead. And so you're going, oh, I don't do any of that. Oops. And thus it's supposed to inspire you to do that. But no, your mind became darkened. Oh, Dad, you're so funny. Joseph is still a Padawan at this time. He's still trying to figure things out. And so, yeah, the Book of Mormon was also for Joseph Smith to learn from. These initial sections from the Doctrine and Covenants that help expand upon the Book of Mormon are for Joseph, so that he can study them, so that he can learn line upon line, precept upon precept, to be who Daddy set him up to be. 2 Nephi chapter 3. Learning of the Jews. Because if you're going to use Christianity, you'll never know what the learning of the Jews is concerning Messiah ben Joseph. Church doesn't want you to know anything about it. That's why they didn't put it in the Bible dictionary. So, there's so much stuff that I've been trying to share with you all these years. And if you're brand new to my channel, yeah, it's because of the church. Through AI YouTube. And so I just, all is lost. Because it would take a miracle for the majority of people to come to my channel, learn from me, and go, oh, wow, I got it. What do we do now? See, Trial of Faith did it, but he's just one guy. Can't build Zion with just one person. The more people, the better the Zion will be. Zion requires a large population of believers, and there just aren't. So, and Jasmine, oh my God, Jasmine, oh my God. I'm sharing this, Jasmine, I'm sharing this. On Sunday, I'm doing day 2 from the massive comments on YouTube and email and Gmail, trying to get all of the Jasmine comment reply videos that I have a playlist dedicated solely to her for. And so I finally get to the last one, and I'm in the last 2 videos. I'm talking about, hey Jasmine, I'm finishing here. I don't have anything more to cover after I'm done with these. Jasmine, are you listening? She goes silent on me. And so all Monday, nothing from Jasmine either. I'm like, oh great, what happened? What did I do now? And so finally, I send her an email and saying, do you hate me? And give off some of the things that I'm thinking about why. And so then she responds finally at 9:30ish in the evening, which is my time, and so it was 11:30 for her out in Kentucky. And she says, "How could you say that, Travis?" "Well, you ghosted me for a couple of days again." That's how I can say that. And she says that the reason why she was gone for a couple of days again was because Sundays are when she goes to the winery and gets drunk. And so I guess she had a hangover all through Monday too. Speaking of aging with this look. Hilarious. And so yeah, and so then I am now stuck again with no Jasmine, because she said also that the missionaries came by on Sunday, and she's got stuff to talk about that with, and that she's watching one of my videos on YouTube, and when she finishes it, she'll then comment on that too. And all all day today. Nothing last night, nothing today, just gone. So, but yeah, I'm lonely. My angel is gone. There is no angel. She did not show. So, alrighty, we're done.